Hello guys, just starting the live here. Tonight I know I have been missing for 3 or 4 TRECENAs, I kind of lost the count. So I just left you 2 options to watch. You can either watch here on Instagram or also here on YouTube. I will try to look at the both cameras. So it's good to be back. And well, so today is gonna be the Oshlahu Kame. I'm going to remind you what happened to the previous TRECENA so we can connect to this one. Just gonna wait some few more minutes to see if more people jump to the lives. And so tell me, how are you? What's up, Ajmaq? Nice to see you here, buddy. Yeah, I'm just waiting for some more people to connect. I was trying to connect from my computer, but I think YouTube always asks for a third-party software to connect. Never know what happens. And yeah, it's nice to be back, man. But so you guys know, I already have all of the TRECENA analyzed here in my channel. In case like something happened, in case I cannot do the live for any reason, I got you already covered here with the recorded TRECENA analysis. Some of them, like, they are shorter videos because I could edit them. But anyways, there are the lives. They're always there. And so let's see. So nobody's still here on Instagram, but yeah, it's a couple of people here on YouTube. Hello. Yeah, nobody's. Oh yeah, I know the feeling. Because whenever you do live, it's always better because I can interact with you. We can always discuss, we can ask questions. So I'm always here to answer, and I like having this feeling of the live environment. Like, better than just doing live by my phone. Here would be nice for one day we could just all meet in a place and discuss the Maya calendar stuff in person. So let me start here because it's been 5 minutes. I already warned everybody on Instagram and also here on my WhatsApp. Everybody is connected. Your live became a fortnightly program for my wife and I. Oh, that's nice, mate. And so I will be back. I don't know if I'm gonna be doing for most of the time, like all of the TRECENA analysis, but for now on, I will be starting putting more content here on YouTube. For a year, I had no computer to edit videos. That's why I was only providing the lives. I would like to continue with the basics of the Maya calendar. I know, like, it's been one of my top watched videos here on YouTube, and so I want to go back and restart doing that. I have some ideas of videos that I'm trying out to see if it works. So, but one thing that I can guarantee, there are some new things coming up here in the channel. I want to be closer to you, especially during this year of nawal that is entering in this TRECENA. But meanwhile, let's keep here with the lives. Also, for those who like to follow the calendar closely, I have a WhatsApp group coming up. I used to have an older one, but I'm just restructuring stuff here. So very soon we will have some news to share with you. So it's almost 10 minutes. We can start here. So you can all enter to mayathekeeper.me and go to the calculator. If you just, then you can see that tomorrow's date and we all can see that the same design over there. So guys, so only to let you know, I'm doing here on YouTube and also on Instagram. If you prefer watching on Instagram, the link is on my story that I just posted. And also, if you would like to see the graphics to have a visual representation, you can go to mayathekeeper.me and go to my calculator over there so you can see the visual graphics to be easier to follow. I have some people entering here on Instagram. Hello everyone. So I'm just doing the live here on YouTube and Instagram, so I'll keep looking at the both cameras the best as I can. So I think we are ready to start. We are going to be analyzing today the Tijax TRECENA, the 13 cut that starts with 1 Kame, 1 ancestors, and so, but let's rewind a little bit and see what we missed. So we are just finishing, we're just wrapping up the 13 kan TRECENA, or for some who prefer to call the TRECENA by the nawal number 1, it's okay. We have 13 nawals to call the TRECENA, to name the TRECENA. So 1 transformation, or 13 kan, was a TRECENA of a new transformation that could ignite like a very big intervention or a big announcement to something. Nawal Kan is the overruling nawal of the TRECENA. Talks about like the intervention, just like the sound of the thunder that announce changes in the atmosphere, changes in nature. So, and also that could, Kan can also represent whenever you use your wisdom, like whenever you act very smart into something. So it's a TRECENA that could provide some very visionary stuff, some visionary ideas to implement new changes. But it could be also a very stressful TRECENA, because Kan is also the now of fury. It's the sound of the thunder, it's the fury coming from the skies. So it could be a TRECENA where you could be maybe experience some raging aspects, some entering into some trouble. And now this TRECENA is where you can use to cut that stuff, to fix the stuff that started, so we don't make it worse. So we are now starting the TRECENA of 13 Tijax. Tijax is the now of the cut. Like it's the obsidian blade, is the material used for arrowheads, spearheads, for hunting, but also to protect the territory, but also for scalpel, for doing extirpation, for surgeries and everything. So we can also call this TRECENA of the healing. So it can be the TRECENA if you were experiencing some raging aspects, you got into trouble, or you need to sharpen this stuff, maybe the visionary stuff you acquired in the previous TRECENA, maybe it requires a little bit of editing. So this can be a very favorable TRECENA to start doing that. But also the main aspects whenever we talk about Tijax is about healing. But most of the times we're going to be talking about the power of words, healing through words, because Tijax can represent the way we use our communication, the words that heal and the words that hurt. And so this TRECENA, we can also be the one that can lead to a very intense path, depending on the type of the cuts that they start making. Can lead to a very intense path, but can also lead to lots of melancholy, because we tend to say that whatever place that Tijax go through, it always leaves blood shedding. So it's a very fragile naval, so we need to be careful with the stuff that we're going to be saying, because maybe if we ended up in the previous TRECENA in the raging aspect of the Kame, this can be a TRECENA where your words may be a little bit sharp. So be mindful of the words in this TRECENA. But you can always use these words, to encourage somebody. You can use these words to heal, just to show that you are there, for people. And that can be like the biggest healing. That can also be this alternative name for this TRECENA. So, starting the analysis, we start this TRECENA with Kame, one ancestors. Now one is the spring, like is the water just breaking the skin of the earth, looking for a path. So it's a soft beginning. And now Kame is a now of the ancestors, also a now that we can express as the most feminine of all of the nawals. By the way, guys, if it's your first time tuning into my lives and you are not familiar with the calendar, I have a playlist here with fundamentals and basic concepts in here, so you can go there and check that out, so you won't feeling that lost following these lives. Okay, and if you have any questions, don't be shy. You can ask here on YouTube. Also, those here on Instagram can also leave your comments here, and then whenever I stop talking about something, I will go back to your questions. All right. So one Kame is the now of the ancestors. But whenever we talk about Kame being like the most fragile of all of the nawals, we always talk about like the now that provides, that can provoke suffering, suffocation in the heart. So after the nawal Khan that brings the fury, that can bring anxiety through that, or sometimes puts you into trouble. Sometimes you can start this TRECENA with a soft heart, maybe a wounded heart. So the Tijax from the now ruling over this TRECENA can maybe restore your heart, can maybe bring all of this healing that is going to be necessary. Remembering that the now 13 is always pushing the time forward. Although we follow the day by day in the Maya calendar, time doesn't work quite like that. It's always interweaving between what can be considered in the future, what could be the past, to build the present. So what we are starting right now in Kame is already being pushed forwards by the accumulation in 13 Tijax. In my videos, I go deeper into this explanation, so I'm not going to go into depth into that right now. So everything that happened in the past TRECENA, we can start just continuing with this one. Also, Kame can not only talk about suffering or suffocation in the heart. The now, being the now of the ancestors, it also talks about supportiveness. It's the supportiveness of the ancestors that are traveling through the breezes of the wind. So whenever you feel necessary, if you don't have anyone to talk, you can talk to the ancestors. Remember that one of the basic Maya concepts is that everything is alive, everything has a way of consciousness, everything has a way of communication, no matter it's humor or not. Even like the deceased ones have a way we have a way to keep communicating with them, keep feeding their ushlab or the inner consciousness through our words in the wind. So in this TRECENA that also talks about communication, we are starting with the ancestors. So this can indicate to create a habit to communicate, to spread your words with the ancestors. Just open your heart to the ancestors if you need any help in here. Don't suffer alone. So you can find support in the breeze of the wind with the ancestors. And so this TRECENA, we are starting with this wounded heart, maybe with the suffering, but we can heal through the TRECENA. There is always a time where we can go back, we can bring clarity to what happened, we can go back and fix any wrong that we may did in the past TRECENA. So it's never too late for anything. Then from Kame, we're gonna move to Kepker, to deer. Now 2 is a now of retraction, or taking one step back, of doing our calculations in the TRECENA. It can be a good moment for you to project the stuff that you gotta do in this TRECENA. For those who are watching the lives and like to use the calendar for productivity aspects, the now 2, as I always say, is an excellent now for you to do your calculations. What do you plan to do? So you can start calculating the stuff that you gotta do. But also can be an excellent time for you to revisit what happened to the past TRECENA, to see what you can learn with the past things, like your success, like your fails and everything. See how you can calculate things in a better way in this TRECENA, so you don't get frustrated. Because Kame also can enter into this realm of talking about frustration whenever things are not working. So we can use this now too to go back and revisit and see what we can do better in this one. And now Ker is now of the altar, is the now of the stability, is the now of the spiritual strength, is the now of the spiritual leaders. That's why it's the now connected to all of the Ahihab in the Maya community. And so whenever we talk about the altar is the place where we do our talkings to the ancestors. It's where we're going to be doing our intermediation in order to balance the stuff. The Maya altar is always represented by a 4-leg table to represent the deer that carries the stars in the back and the belly on the bottom, to signify balance between sky and earth, and stability in 4 legs. So everything that was making you suffer, so in Kef is an amazing day for you to bring back stability. It could be simply by you just going for a stroll in the park, to observe the nature, or if you're closer to the jungle, or if you're next to the sea, go to nature, just try talking to the ancestors, try using the communication that Tijax is empowering in this TRECENA. So bring your stability back. Go do activities that make you feel stronger, that make you feel more fulfilled. So that's a way that energy comes from movement. So we cannot stay in stagnancy. Because remember, like everything that one nawal leaves, the other is going to be continuing. If we start stressing on suffering and not wanting just to correct this stuff, now Ker can enter into stagnancy, can enter into reluctancy as well. Reluctancy to move, or because you're going to be too lazy to move, or feeling too heavy to move forward. So we want to avoid that, because the more you do that, the more the blade of the Tijax over there in the end of the TRECENA can hurt you. So be aware of that. Energy comes from movement. So try to stay away from the stagnancy that the now Ker may bring. So use this now Ker to go there, inspire you, just bring stability, increase your spiritual strength, As I said, just go for a walk or a stroll in the park or in nature, whatever you feel comfortable doing so. And then we're gonna go to Oshib Canoe 3 seed. Now 3 is a now that opens the path, is to overcome obstacles, is an attempt to overcome the obstacles. And the now canoe is the now of the seed, is now the seed that has the potential to germinate, the potential to multiplication. But it's only the potential. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to multiplicate. Remember, the seed carries all of the potential to become a very tall and large tree. But also, like if you don't balance like the stuff that you do, you can also rotten that seed. So the now canoe always gonna be a now that's gonna be referring to proportion. How you dose things in your life. Just like the seed that needs the proper soil, the proper amount of sunlight, the proper amount of water to germinate, for you to also to bloom in your life, you also need the things in proportion. The right amount of work, the right amount of exercise, the right amount of rest if you want to keep flowing with stuff. Although in these internet ages where we see publicity all the time, people saying, oh, you should do this, to succeed, you should do that too. We know we are not machines, so we cannot rotten ourselves by just trying to become one. So we need to live our life in balance. So that's why in CAF it's good that we recover stability so we can dose stuff properly with canoe. So we can open the path. Like the healthier we are, like the easier it becomes for us to open the path to produce more, to feel more happy, to be able to multiply our stuff. And also not to be in a hurry. Everything has its own rhythm to grow. But you also need to nurture everything that you do. So Kanye also talks about nurturing stuff. Also can enter into the process of ripening stuff. If you have some stuff ready, Kanye days can be an excellent day for you to ripen all the results that you already have. And so this is a day to open the path to start producing, to open the path to start putting all of your calculations of the previous day into action. But also, that's important to remind, it also talks about intoxication. If Tijax is the now of medicine, can be also the intoxication whenever we start taking so many medicines. Or you can even talk about things you do, like coffee, for example, things you do for enhance your productivity. So we need to be aware of the stuff that we use so we don't get hurt, so we don't go for the other side. Remember that the difference between the medicine and the drug is the dosage. So, and that's what canoe here can also serve as a reminder for us. And then from Oshib Canoe, we're going to move to Kahib Tor for fire. Now 4 is the water that stops in a place. It can be the now of the dam, or it can be the well, or it can be a pool of water. It's the water that is in the container. And now Tor, we talk about the now of the ascending fire. The one that you have just to put the firewood in there so it can burn to go up. So metaphorically, we're going to be talking about the sacrifices that we do to get what you want, to get the stuff that you want to commit. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be something that can really take away like your mental health and everything, like your physical health even, but after you do all the sacrifice, it's going to be yours. So it's yours and nobody else can say anything. So, but you need to choose like what is really worth it for you, because sometimes like the payment can be too big. That's why nawal talk is also often translated as the now of the payment or offering. Is what you're going to offer. Also can be connected to the now of the blood, because the blood like is our vital energy, and the most like the most precious stuff that you can offer is the blood, like how you're going to commit into your stuff. And so Kahib Toch can be the day for you to establish all your commitments, establish or to balance all your sacrifices. It can be a good moment for you to see if that's being worth it. Because maybe some stuff that you started some talks, some talks, behind. Like you chose to commit into something, but then you realize that that's taking too much energy from you. Like you're not seeing that's gonna be like beneficial in a long term. You can stop at any time. So this could be like a good day for you to establish like your sacrifices. Remember that Tijax 13 cuts are really pushing the time forward. And in the same way that the obsidian blade can be used for surgeries to heal, but also can be used to kill as well. And as we spoke in the previous nawals about Kame being the intoxication of how you used your medicines that can rotten your body, now Toch can be the next step. If you enter into intoxication and to rottenness, now Toch will represent whenever you get sick, whenever the sickness starts manifesting into your body. It can be, that's why that's the now that's related to hospitals as well. So that's why you need to be very careful with Toch, because Toch is a now that you don't want to mess with. But also this is a now where you can establish your commitments. Like it could be a good day for you to stop, just to slow down a little bit, for you to start organizing, start putting things into balance, just like now 4 can suggest. So after opening the path to produce, don't overextenuate yourself. Just stop a little bit, start doing what you need to do, especially for those who are using the calendar for productivity stuff. Now 4 days is a day for you to establish, just to keep things in balance. All right. Then from Kahib Toch, we're gonna move to Tz'i 5, dog. Now 5 is a now of the rush, it's a now of the overflow of the TRECENA. As I always used to say, now hop days is where things can go sideways, because everything that happens in the now 5 can really have a big effect on how the 13 over there is pushing things. If we started this TRECENA with Kame that talks about the ancestors, the now of the suffering, or the now of the supportiveness of the ancestors that travel through the breezes of the wind, now Tz'i will talk about emotions. Now Tz'i is a now of emotions, many times can be emotional confusion. And so if we start this TRECENA suffering, that can inflict or inflammate, because emotions will be entering into actions. If you allow our emotions go out of control, then the obsidian blade over there can start hurting ourselves, or can even start hurting others. Remember that I said that Tijax is now the rules over communication, the words that heal and the words that hurt. And if we are in emotion imbalance, we are maybe likely to act unfair with others, just act without thinking, without being too rational on how to do things in a nice way, in a balanced way. So emotions out of control, as now 5 suggests, can really bring things into a disaster. So you don't want to keep suffering if you already came from something bad from the previous TRECENA. But also on the other side, depending on how we are dealing with things in this TRECENA, if you are able to get the supportiveness of the ancestors, start communicating with them, bring balance with now care, then open the path with the right dose with Kame, then establish stuff with now Toch, then we are going to be okay with our emotions. Then you can use the best of it to even heal like our loyal ones. Because Tz'i also talks about like the bonds that we create with other people, like our friendship, like the relationship we have with our parents. So that's one of the realms that Tz'i can also talk about. And if Tijax over there, this is can be the TRECENA of the healing. So we can always be around the people that we care about. Like if you're not feeling well, maybe you can go there and talk to your friends, spend some time with them. This can be a moment of healing. Or if you see that people that we care about, like the significant people around us, are also suffering, we can offer our help to them, we can offer our companion to them. Because it's not only just receiving stuff whenever we feel bad, but we also need to give also something back. Because that's what nurtures our bonds, nurtures our emotions and our connections with other people. So we can always do things alone, but whenever we have people by our sides, it's always better. We can always take an advantage of that warm, energy of their companion. So then from Tz'i, we're going to be moving to the heart of this TRECENA, that is 6 bats. Now 6 is the heart of the TRECENA, just like it's the weight of the TRECENA, where we have to put things into perspective. As now 5 can also sometimes rush stuff, so then now 6 we can ponder what happens after that overflow of the now 5. So then we can start putting things into consideration. What could be like the best ideas to follow? What are the best, stuff that we need to take care of? If we are having so many ideas, we can use the Tijax later in this TRECENA to cut those ideas that are not connecting to the large plan, that are not connecting to our vision. So 6 bats can also talk about like just to ponder all of the entangled threads. Bats can be connected to the jaguar monkey, because it's the way like the monks swing between the trees, that sound that looks like the way the Maya weavers just cross the threads to produce the textile. So we always going to be referring metaphorically as having some ideas, putting things into action, connecting the dots over there. So if you feel a little bit lost in the heart of this TRECENA, maybe you can connect the dots, maybe you can find out some stuff. But if we found out that we are entangled, so we can already decide what we need to cut, how we can restore the order after the chaos. Because Tz'i can also be entering into the chaos in the emotions that can lead things into completely chaos inside our lives. So in Bats is the one that restore the order. But it's not a good day for you to make decisions over there. It's a good day for you to ponder stuff. What could be like the best roads to follow. So Bats, it's a great day for you to start like acknowledge what do you need to cut. It could even be your ideas. Maybe like those nice ideas that you have, you don't know how to do that. So sometimes you can train them. Tijax can be like an editor, like a movie editor, where you go there and cut. And then from Wakibat's 6 monkey, we're gonna move to Ukub E 7 pathfinder. And here we arrive to the climax of this TRECENA, the path. The 7 represents the hot water, or just like the geyser or the lava of the volcano. Here we can already see, as we arrive to the middle point of this TRECENA, we can see where things are tending to lead. We can see all of the possibilities of accumulation of the TRECENA. As I mentioned, that everything that we start in this TRECENA is already being pushed by the nawal 13. So all the possibilities are already being driven and determined by this nawal 13 that is ruling this TRECENA. So now it talks about the path of life. It can even be like a physical journey whenever you book a flight just to go somewhere you like for a trip. It can also be whenever you are just chilling at home and you grab a book to start reading some stuff, or you go there and watch a nice movie to unwind and just to travel through like a story over there, but can also be from spiritual traveling as well, through ceremonies. So now we is always going to be talking about this any type of path, but how we're going to be advancing into this path, what we're going to be using our experience to advance in the path. So after pondering what to do in 6 monkey, so then we can realize what is the direction we want to advance, we want to proceed. Even if we need to take some step backs, just to take a different route, that's also advancing in our way. So, but also in our ways, the now that talks about melancholy. It's the melancholy of leaving things behind. Sometimes we tend to get attached. As I mentioned to you, that now 5 can take things out of the control, can overflow stuff, as the now 5 was with Tz'i, talks about emotions. Sometimes we're gonna be missing some stuff, sometimes we lose the people we love, so we always gonna feel in that longing of being in person with them. But can also talk about, as you're talking about the beginning of this TRECENA with the ancestors, we also talk about the longing of having like their physical presence with us, because it really hurts losing somebody that we love. So, but as we are just learning this TRECENA, that everything is interconnected, everything has a way of communication, everything is alive, even our deceased ones, can listen to our whispers during the wind. That's why this TRECENA talks about enhancing communication. But sometimes we can experience the melancholy that sometimes makes us, stay stagnant in our path, not knowing where to go or what to do. We always sooner or later we enter into these solitary roads. But also depends on our attitudes, depending on how we are dealing with our emotions in TRECENA. Sometimes we can say mean things for the people we care about and lead to feeling a little bit sad because of that. So the climax of this TRECENA is always going to depend on our attitudes or our actions in here. So that's why we need to be very mindful of our words. And that is something like that. I'm just going to be telling this story on just to put up brackets over here. That's something that I learned with the Guarani people here in Brazil. That there is a story there. They were telling me that some time ago in the villages, there were like a man over there that passed by a house of one of the men in the villages to pick up, and he asked the guy, "Oh, can I just go back every morning to pick some fruits in here, and by the end of the month I can pay you like the amount of fruits that are grabbed from your tree?" Then he said, "Yes, you can do that." And then they had a deal. So every morning this man was going there and picking up a fruit from the tree. And then somebody else from the community saw the man picking up the fruit without the owner of the land being around there. So he thought, no, the man is stealing that fruit. So then this man, this other guy of the community, started telling everybody that the man that was picking up the fruit was a thief, was like somebody that was stealing stuff. And then people started spreading the word and saying, "Oh, the man is a thief, he's a thief." So then this man that was picking up the fruit was walking around the village and asked, and see that everybody just was looking and being like, just giving like to Tz'i of disapproval of stuff. He wasn't understanding what was going on around there. And then he started asking, like some people say, "Why everybody is treating me like this? Like, okay, have I done something wrong that I don't know?" And then he said, "Yeah, you started stealing fruits, from that man over there." And then he said, "Yeah, but you don't know the deal that I have with the man. Like, you don't know anything. Like, you didn't came to talk to me to ask about what's going on." And then he came around, like just spoke to the man of the owner, said, "Yeah, I have a deal with him." And then the man that's started spreading, like those fake news, they started just shitting on his wall. He was regretting, saying, "Hey man, okay, what can I do, just to making amends, just to the right for this stuff that I don't like this misinformation that is spreading here. Then this man said, okay, you're gonna be taking this pillow, you're gonna be going to the top of the mountain, you're gonna rip the pillow and just throw all of the feathers through the wind. And then the man went there, he climbed the mountain over there, he ripped the pillow and just spread all of the feathers of that pillow. And then he came back and said, yeah, I did that, so there is something else that you want me to do? And then he said, now you can go back and take all of those feathers that were carried by the winds back again. Then he said, oh man, that's gonna be impossible. Like, it's gonna be impossible to pick up all of the feathers. The wind already carried all of them. So that's it. Now you learn that everything that you spread, the wind carries, so then you cannot take that back anymore. So you already you already provoke some damage. So that serves for you as a lesson. So that is this short story that I learned here with the Guarani people that really relates with the Tijax. Because we need to be mindful of what we say to the wind, because the wind can carry, wind can spread the stuff, it can also provoke the mass, it can fire back to us. So that's why we need to be very mindful with the words we say to the wind. In every indigenous community, not just the Mayas, this with all of those that I have experienced within, they always talk, especially like the shaman people. You see that they are very careful with the things that they say. So in this Ukub-E is gonna be is where you're going to determine where we're gonna be going, how we can see the path to fix stuff, also using our communication. And then from Ukub-E, we're gonna be going to Washakib-Ah 8 transformation. And in the now 8 is where the TRECENA returns. So it's a new beginning of the TRECENA. Now 8 is the now of the return, it's a second beginning. It's just like when you are starting something doing something for the second time. You kind of already know what to expect. You can do things in a better way. You can be more prepared. And that's why you can understand why the Quiche Maya people, they start the calendar in a now 8 day instead of the now 1. Because the now 8 is a beginning, but where you're more prepared. And now Ah talks about the now of the transformation, is the now of the changes. So after you decide where to advance, now you need to complete this road that you started. You need to continue on, but sometimes going through this incompleteness process is not a nice thing, because whenever we talk about transformation here, it's always something that can put you into bitterness. Sometimes can put you into that sensation that, oh my gosh, I need to do that, I need to complete that. It's always leading to some gray moods, some cloudy, moods. So returning of the transformation, so now you can see better what you start transforming in the beginning of the previous TRECENA, the 1 Oshilahukan, 13 serpents. Now it's returning, now you are more prepared to continue transforming whatever you need to do. So Washakib can be the return of just going back and restarting things, applying the necessary changes. If you start this TRECENA suffering, if you are continually suffering, maybe there is something that you are not doing correctly over there. So it could be at times where you can look back and see, how can I do this better? How can I change all of these scenarios? So we talk about changes. In Quiche can be represent the now of the home. But every time we talk about now it's always about referring to Habal in Quiche. That means transformation. So this is the now just to return, to transform, or to change whatever you find necessary. Then from Washakib we're going to be moving to Belaer Ishpalam 9 Jaguar. Now 9 is the now of the gestation, what is hidden behind the doors, or is in the cold. It can also be the nawal that refers to the wet caves. So you can go there, there is water, there is something gestating over there. So there is the element of life over there. So it's also the number of the feminine. 8 can be the masculine and 9 is the feminine because representing pregnancy, gestation. And now Ishvalam is a noun that is cognate to the noun 9. If noun 9 talks about development, gestation, now Ishvalam will also touch these aspects. Gestation, development, but Ishvalam enters also into ambition, greed, and also savings whenever we talk about business as well. So Ishvalam will talk about like the female aspects of the transformation of nawal. So it's about gestating the ideas, just building stuff, some concrete, just building your business so you can have like ways to sustain yourself. Also, it's a now for you to save some money so you can have something to use for emergency or just to do the things that you want. But also can be the now that talks about barrenness. Like whenever, like if you're just coming from bitterness, maybe you cannot gestate, you're not gonna be fertile to gestate anything. So you enter into barrenness. Or whenever you don't have any money in your bank account, so you kind of feel dry over there where you cannot build anything. So Ishvalam, if in the beginning of the TRECENA we were talking about gaining strength, just calculating the strength, now we need to use how we can gestate that strength, the things we need to explore, to be around. Remember I said energy comes from movement. So Ishvalam talks about exploring. So it's about gestating what you need to explore, just like to explore what is in the darkness, explore the potential of this stuff. And then from 9 Ishvalam, we're going to move to Tz'ikin, 10 ego. The now 10 is the now of the convergence, is where everything, you can meet in one single place. So we always make reference to the lakes that can receive like the water from an inner spring or from some other rivers that arrive to a place. But it's also like the convergence that also is not just receive water, but also gives to the animals in the land just to sustain the life over there. And so now Ishvalam, we talk about the sky, like it's the bird, is the now the eagle. So it's the one that goes straight forward. If Ishvalam do the savings, Ishvalam Tz'ikin is the one that spends or invests the money. They do the straightforward actions. The masculine aspect of the transformation that we restarted with nawal over there. So it's about being focused. So 10 Tz'ikin is going to be the now of the convergence of focus. So where you can see like everything that you need to do. Could be a good day for you to do teamwork. If you are having trouble, you're feeling disturbed, not being able to focus, 10 Tz'ikin can be an amazing day for you to ask everybody else's opinion. Maybe the harsh truths can be something that can wake you up, can make you see better, can make you be more focused of what are the next steps to do, or what could be the best investments for you to enter. And then from Lauch Ishvalam, we go to Hulauch Ajmaq, 11 complementarity. Now 11 is now that spreads or dilutes stuff. And now Ajmaq is the one that combines the complementary opposites, like the female jaguar and the masculine ego, to get a result. It can be a business deal, it can also be a product that you make, it can also be a newborn after sex. So Ajmaq is also the now that talks about sex. But sex, but more in terms of procreation. Now Tz'i is the other now that talks about sex, but more about kinky sex, more sex without having a connection or a goal with it. So Ajmaq talk about what are the results. So 11 Ajmaq is now to spread the results, to spread the like the products, where it's spread like the results you can get from your previous actions. So you're going to be taking the feminine jaguar from the gestation or the savings and the investments of the masculine ego or the straightforward actions to create something new. Also, Ajmaq talks about whenever we make a mistake, talks about the blindness that this joining these complementary opposites can bring. Because sometimes, we can because of the emotions, we can enter into blindness. We can enter into like this blind excitement, and we start doing things only blind by emotions. So we are very likely to do mistakes. As 11 is now that can dilute stuff. 11 Ajmaq can be the day where you can try to dilute your mistakes, try to put your feet on the floor, try to see through what was wrong, try to make an amend if it's necessary. So use your words, use your communication just to restore that. And then from Hulauh Ajmaq, we're going to move to Kablauh Naor. And here we're going to be entered into the new mom. There are some stuff that I haven't touched because the focus here is not analyzing the mom, but just go through the analysis of the TRECENA. I have a video coming up talking about the entrance of this mom, Kablauh Naor, and also about the Tz'ikin, which are the 5 days of resting. So after 7A, we count 5 days until the arrival of the mom of the new year, the 12 Naor, 12 thoughts, that talks about the shift. One elder leaves its position for the other to assume, to start preparing this stuff. So Kablauh Naor is going to be talking, as now 12 talks about the unexpected, the extra, or something that comes as a surprise. So it's the hidden balance of the TRECENA. And now Naor talks about organization. Is the nawal that talks about synthesizing, analyzing stuff, the process that leads to decision making. And also is the nawal that can also lead to obsession, also the nawal that can lead to inflammation in your thoughts, like overthinking. So later the Tijax can cut this inflammation, can heal this inflammation. So 12 Naor can express like the extra plans that you can arrive if we follow things in a balanced way in this TRECENA. Like you can arrive just maybe to a bigger understanding of what to do, what is the plan to follow, what is the proper action to keep going. Maybe we're going to be having like a better understanding of our bigger plan, of the big picture itself. We're going to be understanding like the possibilities of that we saw in the 7 pathfinder. Finally on Kablauh Naor is where things could start making sense. But it's always something that was already built in our previous action. So 12 Naor also going to be talking about like the butterfly effect, something that we cannot predict. That's why now 12 talks about being a surprise element, something that's going to be balanced. Because remember, as now he also talks about being justice or being just, like just doing the right, just following the rules, in order to everybody be living in the same page. But since the universe is always in balance, whenever something goes back to balance, goes in balance, and the universe corrects, then you can apply the conceptualization. Justice was made, or something like that. So 12 Naor can talk about like this extra plan or this extra obsession that we can get depending on how we are traveling through this TRECENA. Remember, every now continues with what the other left. So we always can go back and forth like with the aspects of the nawals can bring. And then we arrive to the ruler of this TRECENA, the 13 Tijax, Oshlahu Tijax, 13 cut, which is going to be the accumulation of everything that we saw so far, everything that I was explaining in the beginning of this life. That this is the now of the cut, but the cut to heal or is the cut to really hurt. Even is the now of the rules over communication, is the words that heal and the words that hurt. Tijax is now associated with the obsidian blade because it's the material for using for arrowheads, for hunting or to protect the territory, or also as a scalpel for extirpation in surgeries. Also can also associated as the editor that's going to be taking the plant, is going to be cutting the things that doesn't belong there. It's going to be cutting the losing threads that we saw in 6 bats. So here we're going to be seeing the accumulation of everything that we saw in this TRECENA. And as I said that we start this with Kame, maybe you can bring the healing from that suffering that was in the beginning over there. It's also the way we can establish a communication with the ancestors as well. So just summarizing everything that we saw so far, we started just with Kame, with a new support or a new suffering that could lead us to keep care, to dear, to calculate what we gotta do or stability for this TRECENA, or maybe looking back to see how we can balance the stuff so we can open the path to produce or open the path to find the right dose in Oshib Kanil, tree seed. So we can use the balance to only ingest like what is going to be healthy for us, just to avoid being rotten by that. But sometimes it can be like the rottenness or the intoxication, the bad use of medicines of the Tijax and Kanil. Then what happens to what we open the path with Kanil, we arrive to Kahibtor for fire, where we establish the stuff that we gotta do. Maybe we saw like the price of our commitments, the price that we're going to be having to pay bodily in the body as well. Maybe we can get sick if you went out of balance, but also can establish our real commitments where we can give our blood to achieve something. And then we go to the overflow of emotions in 5 Tz'i, where things can go sideways there. We can even use the energy to heal somebody, or even can bring a mess and bring the hurt inside of the Tijax TRECENA. And then we arrive to ponder the stuff, what to do in Waki Bats, putting things into consideration. Then we arrive to the final path in 7A, to decide where to go, what to do, being already in the middle point of the TRECENA. Then we return in Washakib A transformation, decide what are the necessary changes that could be necessary for us to do. So we can gestate the development with 9 Ishpalam, then converge the straightforward actions with the ego, Tz'ikin, so we can dilute our mistakes, or we can spread or multiply our results in Kula Ajmaq, 11 complementarity. Then you can arrive to a bigger plan, to an unexpected plan, or plan to, or stuff to understand in Kabla Naor. Then it's going to be like the new mom arriving. And then we finalize with the 13 cuts, where we can cut what we don't need anymore. We can heal, can bring that big healing. But remember that this big healing is going to be active through all of the nawals in this TRECENA, because 13 Tijax is ruling. And then we're going to be just getting ready for the next TRECENA, that is the Oshlahubat, the 13 monkey TRECENA. So in this, we finalize our live TRECENA analysis. If you have any question, if you have like anything related to this TRECENA or the Maya calendar in general, I can stay here and answer all of your questions. If not, we can close this live and prepare for this TRECENA. Awesome. Thanks, Adam. And as I mentioned before, like I'm returning the activities here in the channel, in the pages. I have some stuff coming up for you to make this experience of following the calendar better, so you don't need to go back and rewatch all of the lives that I do in here, because I know like I overextend a lot. I like to leave everything very well explained to make the most of sense for all of you, to facilitate your experience. And that's the people here on Instagram, like the live is going to be shutting here in 20 seconds. because Instagram has a limited time, but you can jump back to YouTube if you have any questions. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I see you in the next TRECENA. And you guys here, if you don't have any questions, we can close the live right now as well. So let me know if any questions may arrive about this TRECENA. So it's good to be back and doing these lives again. So I always have a good time. Thank you, Edmund, here for being active here on the chat. But as we don't have any more questions, we can close the live. For those who missed the live, you can always go back and rewatch it here. And also, if you enjoyed the live and you're enjoying the content, don't forget the thumbs up, because it really helped me. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, because there is a video coming up in this TRECENA talking about the new mom and many other stuff that's coming up. So everyone, thank you for your company. Thank you for staying here with me, and see you all in my next video or maybe our next live. Have a good one.